Welcome to the part 7 of this series, and in this video we are going to be looking at conditionals in Python. So what is conditionals? Conditionals are a fundamental concept in programming, allowing you to execute different blocks of code based on certain conditions. So it's just a way for you to control how your code runs or which part of your code will run based on some certain condition. That is just what conditionals is about. So in Python, we represent conditionals using 3 statements. We have the if statement, then we have the elif statement, we also have the else statement. So these are the 3 statements we use to represent conditionals in Python. So if you want to do it, we are trying to say that if this condition is true, run this block of code. If the first one is not true, run what is inside there. But if this one is not also true, finally run the else block. Don't worry, you will see this in action now. Let me just clean this thing here. And let's say, which example am I going to bring now? So, okay, let's say you have a registration form. So you give your user a registration form. So I'll just say print registration. So this is like a registration form on your website. So we are now going to say input. So like as you know, input is a way we get something from the user. So let's say in your registration form, you may want to get their username. I will say username. So you want to get the username, but before then, let me store lists of users. So I'm going to have list of users. Let's say we have Isaac, we have James, we have John. Let me reduce the size a little bit. So we have John, we have let's say Peter. So these are some names. So these are our current users. I can come here and say current users. So these are our current users, but we want new user to be able to register. And you know, as you know, 2 users can't have the same username. So these are our current users. So we are going to create a form that will say, okay, you should enter your username. So the user will enter his username here. What we will now do is say if username, okay, if username in list of users, print, I'm going to put my f string here. I've explained it to us in previous class. Inside here, I'm going to put username already taken. Yes, I will print, let's see, yeah, this is available. So this is a very simple use case. So we have something like this in our registration form. You know, your registration form, you don't really want 2 people to have the same username. So we'll store our current users to a list. So this is the list here. We have talked about data type in our previous class. So this is a list that store all our users. What I do here, I put to my user to enter username. Anything the user enter will be stored to username here. So if the username is in list of users, I will say the username is already taken. Else, I'm going to say is available. Like what I told us, for conditionals in Python, we have 3 statements we use. We have the if statement that we use. We have the elif, but I have not written the elif. So we have the elif statement, and we finally have the else statement. So I will give you an example using the 3 of them. But this example I'm giving now is using 2. So what we are saying here now, if this condition is true, run this code. That is just what conditional is. Like if this condition is true, run this code that is under. Now mind you, when you come into real life projects, here may not be print, here may be a function that executes a specific, like it can be a function that carry out a particular action. So we were just trying to say that as far this condition is true, run the code that is here. Else is a way of you saying that if everything above is not true, like if everything above is not true, run what is in the else statement. That is what is just doing. So let me save it and go to my terminal to run it. So as you know, I will just say Python space part7.py and press enter. So it's a registration form. So enter username. Let me enter Isaac. You see, say Isaac is already taken. So I don't know if you understand. So let me zoom in a bit. So let's run it again. I will enter Peter. It say Peter already taken. Let me run it again. But now let me enter main. It say main is available. So that is just how this thing works. So this is the if block, like the if statement block. This is the else statement block. So if this condition is true, there is no need for you to come and check for the else statement. But if it's not true, you will come and check for the else statement. Also, there may also be a condition. Let's comment this out and write another one. You may also have in a case where a user is logged in or not. So I can say user underscore is underscore authenticated, or you can say login. Let me just use authenticated equals to false. Let's use false. So I will say if user is authenticated, I will print dashboard. I will say dashboard. S, I will print login page. So I am just using this kind of examples so that when you see them in real project, it will not be new to you. So normally I can as well use some weird example, but this one is related to what you will likely see as you tend to develop websites. So you say username, actually user is underscore authenticated is set to false. But what you are doing here, you say if user is authenticated, that means if user authentication is true, like if this is true, we return the dashboard. Mind you, if it's in real project, this will be dashboard.html, like you display the user dashboard for the user to see. But if the user is not authenticated, we'll return the login page. So now let us save it. I'll press Ctrl S to save it. Yeah, I will come to my where I'm running the code. Let me clear this screen. Clear this, then press the code. Now it show login page because why? The user is not authenticated. But if I turn this false to true, that means the user now is now authenticated. Let's run the code again. It says dashboard. So you see, but like what I said, this is not a real project. It's just a way to mimic what you will see in real projects. This authenticated is true. You will set it to true after the user have given you his username and password, and you are able to authenticate the user using that detail the user provides. That is when you will now display his dashboard. Else you display login page. So let's do one more example using this if and else statement. So I will comment this out then. So let's do a situation in which you want to be able to show ads in a user account. So we can have something like users, let me see, user underscore preference, user underscore preferences. So we are going to make it a dictionary. We're going to have something like this, show underscore ads. This is supposed to be colon, not semicolon. So we're going to have something like this. We'll now say if user underscore preference show ads. I will explain it. Print, let's say displaying ads s hiding ads. So this is a very common thing you will mostly encounter in your coding. So we have user underscore preference equals to show ads. We set it to false. So this is a dictionary. We have talked about dictionary in our previous class when we are doing data type. So the show ad is set to false. But what we are doing here, we say if user underscore preference show ad, this is a way you get a value from a dictionary. This user underscore preference is the variable name representing the dictionary. Why? Inside this square bracket here, you put the key. So this show underscore ad is the key, but the value is false. So, but what we are doing here, if user underscore preference show ad, like if this is true, do this. Else, do this. So let us run it and see the output. I'll come here, press up, press enter. You say hiding ads because why? The user preference, this show ad is set to false. So let's turn it to true. So if we turn it to true, let's come back to this part and run it again. Displaying ad. So ad will be showing on the user account if we toggle this as true. This kind of scenario can also be used in a situation like if you have free user, you have premium user in your website, and you want to be showing ads to the free users but not to your premium user. You can see implement it something like this. You can see use it to implement it and it will also work. So let me comment this out and do another example using how am I going to do so now? Let's use the if, elif, and else statements. So in the situation in which you have multiple user type, so let's say you have something like in a school website, let's use that example. In a school website, you have, let's say user role, let's say account type. So you have multiple account type. You have teachers. So you can have teachers. Let's just say teacher. I will duplicate this and just say students. Then let's say principal. Let's just say principal. So, but what I'm going to do now, let me comment them out. I'm not using them currently. So what I just want to say, I will say if account type is teacher, print welcome to teacher dashboard. So I will say elif account underscore type is students, print, let me just copy this to make it faster. Just copy this, paste it here. Welcome to student dashboard. S, welcome to, okay, we can also say elif account type, although just for tutorial sake, but this is not actually a real life scenario, but just for tutorial sake. Welcome to, let me call here principal dashboard. Yeah, so let's just leave it like this, or probably let's make here, what are you going to do? Let us make here principal. Let me say principal here. Welcome to principal dashboard. So I think let's just do it like this. It's better. So like this is better. So we have a website that have three type of user. So and every user fall into one of these three categories of type of users. So we have the, okay, I call it account type. So we have, if account type is teacher, so if the type of the user is teacher, we are going to display, or we are going to bring the user to a teacher dashboard. But if the account type, that is Elif, this Elif, if you want to read, you can say S if, like SELELS, it's like this, S if. So you can read this like this, like S if. That is just the way you can read it. So Elif account type is principal. We say print welcome to principal dashboard. S, welcome to student dashboard. So we are going to have like three type of users. So let's save this and go to our terminal where we run the code and run it. So you see, say welcome to teacher dashboard, because why? The account type is teacher. So if I should comment this out and make the account type a student account type, let's save it. Let's come back to our code and run it. It say welcome to student dashboard. Now let me comment this out and make it principal and save it. Let's come here and run it again. It say welcome to principal dashboard. So you see, this is a very very common use case you are going to encounter. All this, they have this type of website again, this multi-vendor e-commerce website, in which you have users that, as in sellers and customers. So you have seller account type, which is people that can upload products to the website, and you also have the one that's the customer account, which is people that buy. So the two of them dashboard will be different, although depending on how you code the program, so you can make them to use one dashboard, but in most cases both of them use two different dashboards. So you can also implement it using something like this. So but let me just go over what we just did now. This if is just saying if this condition is true, it must not be written like this, depending on what you are coding, depending on what the program is about. But we are just trying to say if this condition is true, will display or run what is here. But if this condition is not true, if this first condition is not true, it will jump to this elif block. So we now say, okay, is this condition true? If this condition is true, it will run this code. Else, like, so before this else will run, is if all the condition above is not true, then else will then run. So that is it. That is everything I think we can talk about in Python conditionals. So if you have any question, you can ask it in the comment section below. So I will see you in the next tutorial. Lest I forget, let me just add this to the video. You should be aware that we can have multiple elif block. So we can say elif account type is principal, do this. Elif account type is this, do this. So we can have multiple elif block. We can even have multiple if statement like if block, but we cannot have multiple s block. So there will be only one s, this s statement in a specific group, but this is just like one now. Depending on how you write your code, you can have if again inside. So just take note of that, you can have multiple elif statements.